Good evening, everyone. I wanted to record a quick section because I got a lot of questions people asked me on the subreddit on how to beat this first mission for the Tyro campaign. It's kicking a lot of people's butt. It was difficult for me on the first go around, so um, there's just a couple of tricks, and honestly, once you've learned those tricks, it's actually pretty beatable. So one of the things I want to point out right up front is that there's a lot of lessons to learn throughout the Tyro campaign. One of the big things about the Tyro is because it's so much smaller and less beefy than the FA-26, which most of us fly. It teaches you how to do stuff better. And one of the big lessons you first learn is energy management. If you remember when the info was released for the upcoming release of the Tyro, one of the things the developer said was that the Tyro was going to teach you a lot of energy management lessons, and that's true here. So one of the big things to note right up front is that if you have really big inputs, big panicky inputs, or even lots of small inputs, those are all equal to a little bit of energy trade-off that could have been spent on forward momentum. You're going to see that the flight leader that's really hard to keep up with, he's going to fly very twitchy, and so if you are less twitchy than him, you'll be able to keep up. There's no need to drop the tanks. You have plenty of there's plenty to keep up with them, and in fact, a lot of the times you're going to be easing off. You're going to be actually have more than you need. That being said, you're going to want to be on burner almost the entire mission. As long as he is on burner, you're definitely on burner. You're only coming off if he's been off burner as afterburner for any extended period of time, and he's usually going to kick it right back on, so just be ready for it. If you see his tail cone light up, go into burner. If there's any, if you start closing, the key #1 secret is to use your air brake. Just let the closure happen and ease into the air brake. Don't air brake too much, or else you're gonna fall back. Another thing you can do, I'll show you on my run through, is turn your radar on, lock him up. I know that sounds counterintuitive, but they won't complain about it. I know people in multiplayer might, but you can see what his airspeed is, the Mach fraction, and he's going to hang out around Mach 0.92. So if you find yourself falling back, as long as you're at Mach 0.94 or 0.93 or higher, you're going to start closing. So there's no need to panic, right? Small inputs. You can also be slightly nose attitude down compared to his nose attitude. So he's going to be using more of his energy to climb. Even if you find yourself falling back, you can just go slightly nose low to him. You're going to drop very slightly lower than him, but you're going to gain in ground speed, and your closure will increase. And eventually, you can trade some of that extra airspeed off for altitude. Again, these are all really small inputs. The only really hard part of this is the initial turn. There's a snap roll. He's going to be orbiting, and you're going to want to join him by turning to. He's going to be orbiting to the left, and he's going to as soon as you get within the designated distance, it's going to trigger a mission event where he turns to a heading of, I think it's 066, and the AI will do that turn really aggressively, so you need to be really on it with that. As long as you can beat that, the rest of the mission's Ascension. You're just kind of hanging out with him. He'll do a few funny maneuvers here and there, but nothing more difficult than that first one. So anyway, this is it. This is Be Easy on Me. This is my first gaming video of any kind, which tells you how much I enjoy this game, but hopefully this will be helpful for people.
1-2, this is command. Echo Leader needs to know you can be trusted to fly sensitive missions over the border, so follow orders closely and don't stray off.
Echo 1-1, taxi to runway 31. 1-2, meet me in the air.
Alright, let's see if I can actually do this. Now that I have OBS and everything working happy. Tower, Echo 1-2, request takeoff.
Copy. Taxi to runway 31.
Taxi runway 31, Echo 1-2. Totally unnecessary to make those radio calls, but I sure like the immersion, and I'm a pilot, and helps me keep my radio voice frosty. I really like the immersion. Alright, so I tried filming this a couple times yesterday.
Just off the coast until you rejoin.
Yeah. I tried filming this a couple times yesterday, and I was able to beat it, but I had issues with my recording because I've never.
Echo 1-2 tower cleared for takeoff at runway 31.
Cleared for takeoff, runway 31, Echo 1-2. Anyway, I tried filming it a couple times yesterday, and this is really the first game I've ever filmed, let alone the fact that it's in VR, so give it a little flaps. I was having a little bit of tech issues. I did find it was a little hard to walk and chew bubblegum. Yep, like that. I was a little bit slow on my increase. There we go. Positive rate. Let's get gear up, flaps up. But we'll see how we do. Alright, so first things first. Let's pull up our nav screen. And about that far out, and I like to have it north up. I'm a north up kind of guy. So one of the main things you'll find beating this mission first off the bat is that your leader, Echo 1-1, is going to be making an orbit while he waits for us to join him. Let's take it out of afterburner here so we don't close on him too fast. As you can see, the orbit is a left-hand orbit, so he's going to be turning away from the coast. The mission is going to occur kind of right over here through this valley. That being said, when you get within that 0.15 of him, he's going to really aggressively turn towards the mission waypoint. It's kind of a game issue. And so what I would recommend is trying to get close to him when he's facing roughly the right direction. That's one of the first things you do. Another thing we can do is I'm going to go ahead. You notice I turn the radar on. Now, I'll say up the front, there's absolutely no threat in this mission. Nothing's going to attack you. Why would I turn the radar on? Well, I can lock the leader up. It sounds a little weird. Why would I lock him up? But you can see here, I can see his speed, Mach 0.45, and up there I'm traveling Mach 0.6. So I know right now that we're closing. Even with this lag pursuit, you can see the number decreasing. So I'm going to just ease off a little bit because I don't want to close quite so fast because he's currently heading about 180, and they're going to have us turn to 166. So having him locked up, he's not going to bitch about you. He's not going to bitch at you about it. So you can just go ahead and have him locked up. Now that he's starting to come around, I'm going to go ahead and go into a lead pursuit, start closing in, and give us a little more gas.
Echo 1-2, Overlord. Pop up hostile bra 065 60 20,000. Trekking south.
Luckily, it's not the annoying Overlord tonight. So you notice Mach 0.52, Mach 0.45, so I got a real slow rate of closure. I'm going to start easing off, though. Currently, we're just about starting to head in the right direction. Now we're starting to get real close, 5.3. I'm going to ease off still on the throttle. Pretty much for the rest of the mission, my hand is not going to be leaving that throttle. So we're at 0.3 away. Oh, hello, Overlord. And I'm just going to ease in nice and slow. The key thing about this is we don't want any kind of massive movements. Everything's got to be nice and steady. So I'm going to bring it in. 0.45. Right, he's about to snap. So now that we've triggered the waypoint, or we're about to, Come on. So he's going to turn to the right there. What is going on with this? There he goes. So look at that. There's that snap, and he's in full burner. That's the hardest part of the map. Now, we're going to keep the burner on and just fly right alongside him. If we get too close, we can ease off with the brakes. Now, one of the things here, you can see I have my flight path marker a little bit lower than him, so that means I'm going to have a higher ground speed than him, and he's going to be climbing just a little bit, so that allows me to catch up. I am not going to take out of afterburner. My Mach is 0.84, he's 0.82, so we are closing at 0.05. If I screwed up decibels, I'm sorry. I'm just going to ease off. And notice I didn't take it out of the burner. I just gave it a squirt of air brake. So air brake is your friend here. All right, there's a turn. And now we're just playing a game of just kind of keep up the leader. Now, a lot of people said you got to drop external tanks. You don't have to do that. Look, my external tank is on board. I weigh just as much as him. Another key thing you're going to want to remember here is small control inputs, right? Even the air brake, you don't want to get too aggressive with it because you don't want to lose too much speed. Any large inputs are going to cause you to lose too much energy in your inputs, and that's what's going to cause you to fall away from him. That's what most people are having problems with. So look at this. We're staying right on his tail. Really haven't touched the burner. I've kept right up on it, but I'm doing really small inputs here. My eyes, you can't really see from the VR, but my eyes are pinned to him, and I'm keeping him relative to a point on my HUD. So I'm kind of trying to keep the relative distance of that not read out. I'm trying to keep that in about the same spot relative to his windscreen. It's about 1 knot, the knot readout on the top left there. So 0.05. There you go. And you're just going to fall. Real small inputs. He's maneuvering pretty aggressively. You can even do a little less aggressive, fall a little bit low him. A little bit of brake. A little bit of brake.
Excuse to launch an invasion, so absolutely do not cross that river unless you want all-out war.
Okay, drag the brake just a little bit. I don't want to get too much closer than this because
Our mission today is to lead a flight of fighters low and fast along the river as a show of force. We want our rivals to know that if they try anything, we won't take it sitting down.
much closer is a little dangerous. He will put some heavy inputs in, and they're a little off-putting. They'll throw you off just a little bit. So again, slow inputs. Okay, he is off burner, so I'm going to take us out of burner. There we go. Ooh, getting a little wobbly there. I was having trouble moving my hand. It was throwing me off. All right. Now, see how he's getting away? I'm going to go to burner. He's going to burner as well. I'm not going to let him get away. 0.05, nice and tight. Small inputs. That's it. You can keep right up pinned against him. Just small, smooth inputs. He's going to move more than you are, but you pretty much have the exact same energy potential as he does. So the kind of goal is to make smoother inputs than the instructor plane does there. And as long as you do that, you're going to come out at air burner. My hand is resting, my throttle hand is resting on my thigh for comfort.
Will be joining us shortly. Keep your formation close behind me and don't stray off course. I don't want you accidentally crossing the border.
That was a weird move he did there. I'm going to ease off just a little bit. There we go. You hear my hand clicking in and out of afterburner. Sorry about that. He is all over the place here. When the wingmen show up, I don't know if there's a way to make them come in smoother, but they will. I've had them bump into me before trying to do this mission. There you go. He's in burner. We're in burner. All right, we're just going to lead behind him here. There we go. He's getting away, but we're going to let him. There we go. See how I didn't panic and point to him? Now I'm staying just above him, and I'm letting my ground speed be faster than his, and then I'll correct the altitude. All right, now we're right up on him. He is at point Mach 9.1. Oop, I slowed down too much there. I'm going to start getting away. So if he starts really getting in the way, you can even angle down. Look, see how there's our wingman. You can even aim a little bit lower than him to gain some ground speed compared to his air speed. There we go. That guy came in right on top of us. I think they want us off of his right wing, but it is a difficult spot to hold for a lot of this mission. Let's see if
That's good. Keep it tight.
He's in
See
there.
all those artillery units and air defenses they've been building up right across the river.
There we go. Now I'm in the formation slot. I wasn't able to do this my first go around with this. I don't want to bump into that wingman. Ease off just a little bit. That .05 is a pretty easy, comfortable spot to be flying in, but let's see if I can get in that. I guess the wingman's going to take... I'm going to take that 6 o'clock position, not get so fancy. There we go. See that diamond over there? That diamond is a SAM site you'll have to engage in, I think, the third mission, the seed mission, third or fourth mission. Third mission. And it's pretty tricky. You come around this hill door at 12 o'clock, and you only have a split second to get a shot off it. It's a hard site to hit. So good luck with that. Good one for the ARAD missile. Alright, I don't know if I can see the wingman. Alright, he's off. You see the maneuvers they're doing are just really janky, very AI maneuvers. So you can, as long as you fly smoother than him, you're gonna keep up just fine. All right. Oh, starting to fly a little bit like a jackass here. 0.0.1. See how he's getting in the way? So I'm just gonna go a little bit lower than him. He's at Mach 2. Mach 9.2, I'm at Mach 9.5, so we are closing 0.06 miles, 0.05, and I'm back in the slot I want to be in. Not my smoothest flying, but like I said, it's hard to walk and chew bubblegum. This tower, this spot over here is your first, you see that diamond there? That is one of the first SAM sites you'll have to take out in the seed mission. At the base of the bridge,
Let's turn right here and head home.
at the base of the bridge, that diamond, that's another, that's a SA site, one of those lavs. Like I said, walking and chewing bubblegum's hard on this mission. And then there's another SAM site right behind that hill. So that'll hopefully help you in the seed mission once you beat this first mission. It's a lot easier when you're not talking and you're not sightseeing. If you're just laser focused on your leader. Okay. There we go. Pretty soon he's going to let us go home. It's actually a pretty cool mission. Remember one of the things that Baja said when the Tyro was announced was that the point of it was to teach energy management. So this lesson, you can think about it, is really a lesson in energy management. But you'll notice I still have the external tanks on board, and I'm keeping up just fine. All those wagging movements that he's doing is costing him energy and causing us to close in with him a little bit. Of course, here I am wagging myself, but you get the picture. Not quite ready for formation flying yet. Alright, we're almost done. You can see the airbase there, bottom right. He's about to release us. about to release this any second now. Come on, buddy. We basically beat it at this point. There we go.
As you can tell, we're so close to the border that if war breaks out, and I think it will, it'll get real bad for this city. 1-2, go ahead and return to base.
Alright, there's our victory roll. Tower, Echo 1-2, request landing.
Echo 1-2, tower, copy. Fly heading 271. Expect runway 31.
271, expect runway 31, Echo 1-2.
Echo 1-2, tower, clear to land at runway 31.
Say we're a little high for this landing here. Let's see if we can, speaking of energy management, let's burn some of this off. Alright. Nice sweeping turn. Actually right on the approach path of the runway here. Alright, that's under 300 knots. I'm going to go ahead and put the flap stand and landing gear down. It's a very unorthodox landing, but I'm kind of tired and ready to just call it quits. So, alright, let's get back up on the on our localizer here. Still a little fast. High on the glide slope, on speed, pulling the power in. There we go. Aim for the numbers. One more power. Power. Alright, a little longer the numbers, but that's alright. 1,000 footers.
Welcome back. Follow the taxi path to your parking area.
Alright, we're not flying anymore. I can take the hand off the stick. That's that. That is, that's mission 1. Go ahead and do the sexy fighter pilot thing there. Alright, I'm going to stop right here. There you go.